told me about 2.5 years or so ago, when we were both at the University of Pittsburgh Cancer Institute, that she was concerned about the health effects of cell phones. When she did that, I was really very skeptical, and I said, well, you know, aren't there more things that we need to be concerned about than cell phones? But she said, you know, you really should look into it. And I had the opportunity to meet one of the leaders from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, who told me that he had looked into it and was involved in a panel to examine some of the epidemiologic data, and felt that there was really something to it. And that particularly propelled me to begin to examine the information. And the more that I read about it, the more concern that I had. Not that there was compelling or conclusive evidence, but there were a number of hints that were disturbing. The ability of this range of radiation to damage DNA is still a bit perplexing as to how that happens, although the free radical possibility is perhaps the best one that's been put forward so far. But that's not clear. Then the decrease in sperm counts. Just to make it clear, the reason it was focused on in men, these were people who were keeping their cell phones in their front pants pocket, and therefore fairly close to where sperm production goes on. The epidemiologic data, which I reviewed very carefully and talked to various experts in the field, overall don't give a very positive signal. But what has really struck me is that in virtually every study that had a significant number of subjects that were examined that have been using cell phones frequently for more than 10 years, there is a signal about an increased risk. That led me, about 2 years ago, when I was the director of the University of Pittsburgh Cancer Institute, to send out an advisory memo to our faculty and staff saying, I've reviewed these data recently, I've become concerned, and although it still is unclear, I advised them to follow what I think is a very important principle, namely the precautionary principle, that if you don't know and there's some concern, do something to prevent rather than wait until there is conclusive evidence. So I sent out an advisory to our staff with 10 points that was nicely summarized by Deborah in her talk and in her book. Basically to keep the cell phone away from your head. And particularly I was concerned because of this increased absorption of kids to really avoid or limit the use of cell phone by children. Since I put out that advisory, there was a publication from a very distinguished epidemiologist in Sweden that followed teenagers who started using cell phones in Sweden and had used them for 10 years or more. And for that group, there was a 5-fold increase in risk for brain tumors compared to ones that didn't use it. And that particularly just increased my level of concern. So I really applaud Deborah for sounding the alarm, writing the book, and doing what she can in a variety of ways to help prevent a potential calamity. I'm a clinical oncologist by training, and I feel very strongly that this is a terrible disease, particularly malignant brain tumors. And should we wait another 10 or 20 years before it becomes conclusive to send the alarms out about how it should be used, or rather to take simple precautions? I strongly believe that what I did a couple of years ago was the right thing, and I feel even more so now than I did at the time that I put it out. So I also applaud Andrea Bowen for taking this into the legislative arena, and I hope to get it passed soon.